exactly. Yeah. And I'd like to add here, David, that, we have this experiment now with COVID passports. I mean, they're not real passports, but you get it, right? It's digital. Okay. So we don't
Yeah.
know what other experiments our governments will implement in the foreseeable future. It could be anything, right? So I'm not trying to spread a lot of fears like our competitors are to get sales, but
Yeah.
there are certain risks involved here that I feel like people should be aware of. For instance, if everything becomes like digitalized, which it is more and more, then there could be a point in time where your government says, okay, we don't want you to spend 73% of your time in Paraguay. Okay. We don't want you to spend like 27% of your time here, where you're from, where you hold your passport, because to
Yeah.
us, that's insufficient time. We want more. We want a bigger contribution for your stay allowance in the country where you are a resident or citizen. What's great about Paraguay, and we talked about this a lot too, David, is that it's one of the few countries that is really open to immigrants. And I've been stressing this a lot on the channel. This is not Asia. This is not the UAE. Go ahead and try to become a citizen of the UAE. Good luck. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
But you can become a citizen of Paraguay. Now, dual citizenship is difficult, but at least you can become one. In Asian countries, no way. In most of them, you can't. So that's why I'm saying, and you are hearing this from someone who's lived in Asia for 8 years, right? Lots of rotating back and forth, so never really consistently, but still, I've gotten to know the system, the legal system, the immigration policies of these countries. And I told myself, and it was actually at the time when I reached 30, where I told myself, do I want to put up with this? Like, I'm never going to be accepted there. I'm never going to assimilate as much as I could in North America, as much as I could in Latin America, because those countries have a prolonged history of immigration, liberalism, whereas Asia doesn't
Yeah.
really have that. Malaysia has it, China doesn't really have it, Vietnam doesn't really have it. So many countries don't have that, right? And so I feel like before you transfer all your funds out or before you make a substantial investment in a country, ask yourself that question if that country even wants you. Now, Paraguay, as you know, David, because you're there now, they want you. They clearly
Yeah.
want you.
Oh yeah.
And you can see that by the liberal immigration policies that they hand it to you on a silver platter, right? They're not making it super challenging for you to become a resident, right? Low entry requirements, very easy. You're treated well there. And I feel like people don't pay enough attention to this fact. Like, people pay attention
Yeah.
to what's being promoted on the media more than the actuality of whether you can actually live there long term. And
Yeah.
we talked about history before, David, and you actually pointed out that 100 years ago we were at war everywhere, and that's true. Even 80 years ago we were at war in Europe,
Yeah.
in Japan, like in so many countries, right? That you need to ask yourself, which countries have a proven track record of liberty, where you can come in, you can own land, you can own property, you can own a company without a local partner, and you can own land, house without using your wife as the
Yeah.
nominee, right? How it works in Thailand. So I feel like that's pathetic. So you don't want to do that, right? You want to be safe with these investments unless you're very rich and you have a lot of money to play with, which a lot of people listening right now don't have. So you want to be safe with your investment, and you really want to think and structure your future in a way that it preserves what you want. And if you want to go to a place like Paraguay, I just think that's a more natural fit and just a better country because of the history, of the immigration
Yeah.
history.
Yeah. The freedom of ownership is something that we don't talk about enough, but that's true. Like in Thailand, you cannot own something. You need a Thai owner with you in the company. But what if you don't know anybody? Well, somebody may sell you their owner, like, under the table, they're gonna sell you the ownership. They're gonna, you give them money, they put their name on, and you take care of everything. But it's still like, that's not normal. But they don't need anybody. They don't need people. Asia have a lot of people, and that's normal, I think. So who's gonna compete? Maybe the Balkans, Eastern Europe, South America. Of course, they need to get better at, more efficient at a lot of stuff. But will come. because talent will come. So they will attract more and more people all around, and they're gonna get better. This is how we call evolution. Our country wasn't, you know, Canada or United States or a lot of, Western country. They were not the most efficient 200 years ago. Now they are. So it will evolve.
Very good. Yeah, I agree with that. And like I said, I want people to really see the bigger picture and ask yourself, what do you want? And what you want at age 24 is something completely different that you would want at age 44. The kind of
Yeah.
security you want, the kind of, I wouldn't say safety net, but just being able to own assets under your personal name, not under a rat hole or under your
Mhm.
wife, or where you don't know where that relationship might go. So I feel like this is emotional intelligence that people need to be more aware of. Whereas people, pushing certain countries that they can go live there. Yeah, you're going to live there. You're going to be a free nomad, but you're not going to be an asset-rich nomad in those countries, right?
Yeah.
Not a capitalist, because they don't allow that. They don't want you to become a capitalist because they're scared of another ethnicity group turning over their country. That's what they're
Mhm.
scared of. That's actually what they're scared of now in Malaysia. They're really scared of that.
Yeah.
So it's like you need to ask yourself, do you have a future in this country or not? Like if it's going to be a nomad future, right? Okay, but what if you want like a real life future, where you have a house, where you have investments, you have a company, because
Yeah.
who knows what's going to happen in 10 years? We don't know, but that's just what I'm thinking. And that's why I'm always telling people, look at your individual situation, because we're all different. We're all somehow the same, but we're all uniquely different. And your life changes every few years. And every 10 years, there's a drastic change in your life, relationship wise, thinking wise, business wise, work wise, how you
Yeah.
feel, health wise, whatever. So you got to be prepared, and you got to have like a roadmap for your life um, before you need it. Because when you need something and it's not available, it might be too late.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, just be somewhere you're like, the word capitalist, some people are scared of this. And like, I believe in the freedom of ownership and in the freedom of chance. So everybody have this, the same chance. Of course, if you live in a country where you don't have internet, you start behind. But if I can start and have, company in the US right now, they're getting bailed out and stuff like this. Like why my little company doesn't get bailed out when I have hard time? That's not normal. That's not the real capitalist. Like the real capitalist for me is really freedom of choice, freedom of ownership, and equal chance to anybody. If you're, Air Canada in Canada, Air Canada get bailed out by the government, let them go bankrupt. But so many people will lose their job. Yeah, another company will emerge. And they're gonna be better, they're gonna be stronger. If you cannot do money with your company should die. So that's the big problem, I think. So being in a country that, is going in the right direction in regard of these kind of mindset, for me is priceless. And Paraguay is one of these countries.
Subscribe now and turn on alerts to never miss any of my future nomadism, dating, and business advice videos. Thank you for watching.